NCAA North Atlantic Conference and Husson University promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators at today's meet. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, or sexist comments or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, or team representatives will not be tolerated or grounds for removal from the Weber pool. Fans, at this time, we ask that everyone please rise, remove your sweat caps, your hats, all of the above, as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Welcome everybody to the third annual Husson University Relays meet. This one the season opener for the Eagles as we get set. They're going to be facing off against UMaine Club's team as well as Maine Maritime Academy, University of New England, and St. Joseph's College of Maine. We've got a nice slate of relays here for you today. Ethan Moss alongside Jacob Wallett as we get set for this first event, the 200-yard medley relay. It'll be Husson University in lane 2. UMaine Club in lane 3, Maine Maritime in lane 4, and the University of New England 2 teams in lanes 5 and 6. Lanes will go 1, 2, 6 from the top of your screen to the bottom, and we get set for 8 lengths of the pool. Starting off with the backstroke.
The woman 200-yard medley relay, heat number 1.
This event I feel is very important for all of these teams to start off on a good note. A lot of times, relay exchanges are very hard to get down early on in the season, so starting off with just a nice, light little fun competition like this and really get into the groove of competitive swimming, I think it's a great opportunity for these swimmers to start off their season.
Yeah, first event of the year. First event of the day, want to start out strong before all the other events happen today, so this first relay is going to be the one to want to get off the jump and get right after it.
Absolutely, and obviously the main story for the Eagles heading into this event is the hiring of new coach Lauren Hoffman in her first year here at Husson. Was an assistant coach at Colby College for a couple of years, as well as head swim coach for the Mid-Maine Dolphins for another year before taking over the program here. Going to try to bring the women back to another North Atlantic Conference championship and trying to get the men their first since 2021. And away we go on the first event. Backstroke will be first. Rochello on the far side for the Eagles up first in lane 2. Followed by Davis of UMaine in lane 3. Over there in lane 5 from UNE, Caitlin Cornier to the wall in third. Long turn in lane 3 from Davis of UMaine. But Rochello cruising out in front, heading into the first exchange. She'll give it over to Mackenzie Gray in first place, 32-62, the opening split. In lane 5 in second, Caitlin Cornier opening up for UNE. UNE taking the lead with April Falstad into the water. Eagles hanging on in lane 2 with Gray to the wall first, just out in front of Falstad. come up first. Long turn for Falstad. She's out in front of Gray. Hillis trying to make up some ground for Maine. Maine Maritime with Dentremont also making a move in lane 4. Dentremont's going to hand it off to Hughes, going to try to make up some ground on UNE with Ring heading into the water for the Butterfly. Eagles up there in lane 3 have Suter in the water, but it's about a 1-length lead for Ring as she heads into the long wall on Butterfly with sizable advantage. Eagles right there in second with Suter. Long turn for Hughes off the wall for MMA. Trying to bring it back over La Casa for the Black Bears. But to the wall first are the Nor'easters. Russell will enter the water, trying to anchor it out in front of Maggie Poulin for the Eagles up there in lane 2. But a long lead. Going to have to hold on to that. Trying to make a move in lane 3 for UMaine Club is Noelle Killarney ahead of Poulin. But Poulin with a great turn is starting to pull away a little bit from her. Mackenzie Murray in lane 4 for Maine Maritime, going to try to track down Slockener, but it'll be Russell for the Nor'easters finishing this one in first. Poulin will get the job done for the Eagles in second, and in third for the Black Bears, Killarney gets it done in lane 4. Slockener for the Nor'easters in fourth, and in fifth, rounding out the field, Mackenzie Murray for MMA. So a great first relay, all clean exchanges. Everybody swam well for this first event. I think we're in for a treat the rest of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw at the end of that, saw the Eagles out to an early lead, and then when the butterfly stroke came along, we saw UNE take over and had a sizable advantage going through the last 2 strokes.
And for this one, for Heat 2, UMaine Club will be in lane 1, UNE in lane 2, MMA lane 3, St. Joseph's in lane 4, and the Eagles in lane 5. Expect this one to go a little bit quicker. These are all the A relays from these schools. One to watch here, Zukov in lane 3 for MMA. Last year's NAC champion in the 100 backstroke. Claire Pellegrino as well for UMaine Club up there in lane 1. Very fast times. Rachel Hand also for the Eagles in lane 1. Expect her to get out quickly as well.
Rachel Hand, Aaron Madden, Kayla Payson, and Mia Winslow. Mr. Referee.
Again, it's the Black Bears lane 1, Nor'easters lane 2, Mariners lane 3, the Monks in lane 4, and the Eagles in lane 5. Off they go. Out in front early, Hand in lane 5, and Pellegrino up there in lane 1. They're going to duke it out between the two of them on the far sides of the pool. The dead heat heading into the wall on the far side. But it's Zukov there first, followed by Hand. Hand off the wall with a very strong push. She gets out in front by almost half a body length over Rue in lane 2. Rue trying to hold on in front of Pellegrino. Hand out in front, losing a bit of the lead. We'll hand it over to Madden. Madden will go into the water for breaststroke. Over there in lane 2, Cabral and Harper for the Black Bears. Madden working with about a half a body length lead heading into the wall. It's Cabral and Harper on the far side, dead even. Madden just out in front, needs a good turn to stay out in front, but is going to hand it over to Kayla Payson, a multi-time NAC champion in the 100-yard butterfly for this 50 yards. Haley Harper making up a lot of ground for the Black Bears will hand it over first. Payson in the water in lane 5. That's Duray in the water in lane 3. Or lane 2 for the Nor'easters. To the wall first is Van Beek for the Black Bears, just out in front of Payson, but Payson with a great turn to try to bring it back. She's back in front of Duray. Payson still trying to track down Van Beek. Payson will give it over to Mia Winslow. Iniesta Canara for the Black Bears, and Hughes for the Nor'easters. Winslow fading as Kiara gets out in front. Hughes trying to track her down. Kiara to the wall first on the far side. And a great turn from Hughes to keep it close as we head down to the final stretch. It's by half a body length. Kiara closing some ground as Hughes. It's going to come down to the touch. And Kiara gets there first. A split of 24-28. Hughes bringing it back in 23-89. Black Bears will take that one. Time of 2:17. Next, the Nor'easters. Eagles in third with 2:04.50. St. Joseph's 2:04.90 in fourth, and in fifth is MMA 2:09.17 to round out that medley relay. That one went a little bit faster, not quite breaking 2 minutes just yet. That's about what we expect from early on in the season. Swimming a very long season, usually lasting from September to March or even April.
Men's 200-yard medley relay.
We get set for the men's 200-yard medley relay. Maine Maritime Academy in lane 2, Husson University in lane 3, Maine Maritime B in lane 4, and UMaine in lane 5.
We have Isaiah Therio, Ben Carusi, Hunter Jackson, and Sam Beezer. And before we have Maritime, Lincoln Graff, Griffin Erb, Jay Chenard, and John Gilpin. Mr. Official?
That it's the Mariners, Eagles, Mariners, and Black Bears from top to bottom of your screen. There's the 200 medley relay. Therio getting off in a .58, a good reaction time off the blocks for him. He's out in front already by about half a body length there in lane 3. Close against the lane line to the wall first. Trying to get away from Graff in lane 4. Walls also trying to track him down, and Jeremy Morgan bringing up the rear there in lane 5. But Carusi will enter the water for the Eagles. For the breaststroke, it's out in front of Griffin Erb from MMA. Erb with a nice long stroke trying to track down Carusi quickly here in the second leg of this event. Up there in lane 2, Brendan Dion trying to bring him back a little bit closer for the second MMA team. Carusi still holding on just out in front by a fingertip, just ahead of Erb. Carusi will hand it off to Hunter Jackson. Erb to Jace Chenard. And this one's going to be a good duel in the pool between lane 3 and 4. Chenard already out in front of Jackson. Chenard using advantage of that big frame to get out in front to the wall first by about half a body length. Jackson right behind him with a great turn, brings it back in. Long underwater for the junior, trying to haul it in. But Chenard holding strong as he's going to hand it off to John Gilpin. Sam Pizer will try to bring it home for the Eagles. Sawyer Carson will hand it off to James Cregan up there in lane 2. And Thomas Murray will hand it off to Ian Plord. But out in front is John Gilpin by about half a body length over Pizer. Pizer still trying to track him down, making some noise late in this event. Pizer with the reach advantage. It's going to come down to the touch at the end. And Maine Maritime gets it done, and Gilpin, Pizer just behind him. Outsplit him by almost a second. 151-17 to the Mariners, 151-29 to the Eagles. A close finish on that one. Third goes to the other Mariners relay. Cregan getting it done, 156-54. And UMaine will round that one out, 201-48 in this first heat of the 200-yard medley. Great race there, especially at the end, and a great anchor leg from John Gilpin to get it done.
And heat 2. First for Husson University Eagles in lane 2. Alex Walsh, Brady Hand, Braden Champlin, and Ryan Emerson. In lane 3, Maine Maritime Academy, John Driscoll, Aiden Burke, John Markilli, and Brigham Graff. In lane 4, UMaine Club Swimming, we have Martin Garnieri, Quinn Burns, Brady Wallace, and Hayden Willis. In lane 5, for St. Joseph's College, we have Sean Perry, Zach Cookmore, Lucas Fendel, and Eli Lind. And in lane 6, for UMaine Club Swimming, we have Draven Medina, Casey Malcolm, Fletcher Marner, and Dakota Grover. Mr. Official.
Eagles will be in lane 2, Mariners in lane 3, UMaine Club in lane 4, Monks in lane 5, and the second team of Black Bears in lane 6. And that's Alex Walsh, John Driscoll, Martin Guarnieri, Sean Perry, and Draven Medina in order. Alex Walsh out in front first there in lane 2 for the Eagles. In lane 4, that's Martin Guarnieri. For the Black Bears, to the wall first is Walsh. Again, a long turn off the backstroke. Guarnieri up first, just out in front of Walsh. But Walsh with that long stroke, going to get him to the wall first, handing it off to Brady Hand. Guarnieri will give it to Quinn Burns. And John Driscoll for MMA will give it off to Aiden Burke for the breaststroke. Brady Hand trying to build a lead over Burns in the breaststroke. Gets to the wall first by about half a body length. Great turn there from Burns. He gets himself right even with Hand. Hand still trying to stretch that lead. He's going to give it off to Braden Champlin. Burns will give it to Brady Wallace, and MMA trying to make some noise. Burke gives it to John Markilli in the butterfly. It's dead even between lane 2 and 4, Eagles and Black Bears. Champlin and Wallace. Markilli trying to track him down. Champlin out in front as of right now. Markilli's still gaining ground on the 2 leaders. Champlin will give it off to Emerson, Wallace to Willis, and Markilli to Graff. As we head into the anchor leg, Emerson building a lead over Willis in lane 4. It'll be Emerson to the wall first by about 3/4 of a body length, followed by Willis. Willis trying to hold on to second as Graff is making a lot of noise in lane 3 for MMA. Trying to track him down. It's to the wall first is Emerson. Willis will get there for the Black Bears, and Graff brings it home for the Mariners. 1:42.91, a quick time for the Eagles to open up in this medley relay. Second were the Black Bears, Mariners third. The other Black Bears in lane 6, in 4th, and in 5th. The Monks in lane 5. That one went quick. The one-time Eagle, Dakota Grover, anchoring out in front of Eli Lint to close it out for the Black Bears. And this is where it gets interesting. Now we head to the pure stroke relays, which are not normally contested, but again, when you're just trying to do a relay meet and get a feel for competition again, sometimes it's nice. This one will be the 200-yard butterfly relay. So it'll be 50 yards apiece for each of these swimmers. It'll be Maine Maritime in lane 2, Husson in lane 3, UMaine Club lane 4, Husson in lane 5, and St. Joseph's in lane 6. This one is always a little harder to get a grasp on as to how's it's going to go, purely because butterfly is one of those strokes. It's either going to go very quickly, or sometimes you can crash and burn if you don't pace yourself correctly.
Yeah, exactly, as you're saying. Butterfly is one of those strokes that is not easy for people to get along with first.
Women's 200-yard butterfly relay, lane 1, University of New England. Lane 2, Maine Maritime Academy. Eva
Good
Schultz.
crowd on hand here today.
Meadow
The
Hughes.
Weber pool.
Cantlin.
I would say we're about 2/3 of the way full.
Your Husson University Eagles.
So a great turnout for this first meet of the year here at the Weber pool. Get to see some of these new record boards put up over the summer, seeing the team records
Claire Pellegrino.
for both the men, women, and the divers.
Picasso, Noel Killarney, and Sky Van Beek. In lane 5, Husson University, Kayla Payson, Hannah Suter, Mackenzie Gray, Rachel Hand. And in lane 6, St. Joseph's College of Maine, Brianna Letourneau, Hannah Murphy, Ashley Thompson, and Brooke Podciadella. Mr. Official.
Issues with the starter system at the moment. Well, we get that fixed. And away we go in the 200-yard butterfly relay. Mariners in lane 2, Eagles lane 3, Black Bears lane 4, Eagles again in lane 5, and the Monks in lane 6. The Nor'easters also up there in lane 1, not on my heat sheets. But away out in front, Payson for the Eagles in lane 5, Pellegrino right behind her for the Black Bears in lane 4. Payson will give way to Suter, Pellegrino to Fracassa. And up there in lane 1, good exchange for the Nor'easters. They're in 3rd place at the moment. To the wall first will be Suter, followed by Fracassa quickly. And the Nor'easters right behind them. Good turn from the Nor'easters up there in lane 1. Suter trying to hold on to a lead. Holding on at the moment over Fracassa. Will give way to Mackenzie Gray. Fracassa to Noel Kiarney for the 3rd butterfly leg. But the Nor'easters have stormed out in front there in lane 1. Out in front by about a length and a half over Gray are the Nor'easters. Heading into their anchor leg. Gray will try to track him down. She will hand it off to Rachel Hand. Still a sizable lead over the Black Bears. Killarney will hand it off to Sky Van Beek. And away goes Hand. Van Beek will try to track her down. Hand has a lot of work to do to try to catch up to the Nor'easters in lane 1. But holding on to the lead over Van Beek. As we got a bit of a close race in lanes 2 and 3. It'll be Kat Christensen trying to track down Kylie Canton. But to the wall first on the Nor'easters. 28-18 the final split. Eagles get in 2nd. Black Bears in 3rd. 2:11 the final time for the Nor'easters. 2:04.62 for the Eagles in lane 5. Black Bears 2:06.90. Down there in lane 6, St. Joseph's will get it done. 2:19.71. And in 5th, Husson University's 2nd team, 2:21.37. And rounding out the field in 6th is Maine Maritime, 2:29.74. Their final time. The men will take over. It'll be Husson in lane 1, UMaine in lane 2, MMA lane 3, Husson again in lane 4, UMaine again in lane 5, and MMA again in lane 6. We see a lot of multiple teams in multiple heats and a lot of duplicate. We see the A, B, C relays. The A relay obviously being just about the fastest team. And in terms of scoring, a B relay cannot outscore an A relay. So sometimes it's a bit of a tactical advantage to put a faster swimmer on a B relay, try and outscore another hard or a difficult B team to beat. We'll see how that strategy plays in here. This will not count towards official scores.
And in lane
It'll be
6, Maine Maritime
scored for the fun of it.
Husson, Oscar Gonzalez, Joshua Payne, and Thomas Murray. Mr. Official.
From top to bottom, it's Gillian, Burns, Chenard, Champlin, Plord, and Carson. Champlin out in front in lane 4 for the Eagles. Has a tough task, and Chenard next to him. They're dead even as they head into the first wall. Champlin will come up first. Chenard just out in front of him. Burns right there with him. Gilliam also there. Murray and Gonzalez will bring up the end. Champlin will give way to Jackson, Chenard to Fernald, and Burns to Willis. As Jackson is going to try to track down Fernald, but out in front, holding on right now into the wall first by about a quarter of a body length is Fernald. Jackson right behind him. Willis also there hanging tough. Carusi trying to track down Willis up there in lane 1. But it'll be Fernard to Trout, Jackson to Pizer, and Willis to Mariner. The top 3. Trout continuing to build this lead over Pizer. Has about a body length advantage as they head into his turn. Pizer right there. Mariner trying to track down Pizer. Pizer has about a half a body length advantage as Trout will continue to build that heading into Ryan Mayer for the anchor leg. Brady Hand will be in the water for the Eagles. Mariner for the Black Bears will hand it off to Wallace. Brady Hand will try to track down Mayer. Doing a great job so far. He cut this down to a little bit less than a body length as we head into the turn. Needs a good turn if he wants to try to bring this one home. Still strong is Mayer. Hand still trying to track him down, but Mayer's running away from him. Wallace trying to bring it a little bit closer to Hand, but it'll be Mayer to get it done for the Mariners. Hand just behind him, almost outsplit him by a second and a half. And a good split for Wallace, 24-38. Good enough for third for the Black Bears. 141-37 the final time for the Mariners. 142-11 for the Eagles. 143-86 for the Black Bears up there in lane 2. Second Eagles team gets 4th. The second Black Bears team gets 5th, and the second Mariners team gets 6th. So done with the 200 medley relay, or the butterfly relays. And this is where it gets a little bit more fun. We're going to head into the mixed medley relays. These are 2 men and 2 women apiece. And this is where strategy really starts to come into play. You got to see where your swimmers want to be. Sometimes you'll lead off with 2 women and then try to bring that back in with the 2 men to close it out. But it's all about strategy, where you want to put your men, put your women, and it's gonna be very hard to tell who's out in front until about that last leg. This will be 100 yards of each stroke. It'll go backstroke, breaststroke, butterfly, and freestyle in these 400 yards. Husson University in lane 3, Maine Maritime in lane 1. Looks like they will be opposite. Eagles will lead off with 2 women. The Mariners will lead off with 2 men. So we'll see if Hunter Jackson, Nathan Gilliam are up to the task of trying to track down Milo Cook-Sharp and Mackenzie Murray. Again, we're going to see most likely a sizable advantage for the Mariners as we head into the final 2 legs. But that leaves the window open for the Eagles to mount a comeback. It's Rochello against Erb. Out in front is Rochello off of the start. Erb will just cruise And we'll slow down the pace here. This time we don't have to go so quick. Rochello to the far wall first. Again, continuing to talk a little bit about the strategy. Sometimes you'll see the men, when they lead off, they'll build such a sizable advantage that it's a psychological kind of thing. It's something you don't feel like you can make up that distance in just a short amount of time. But sometimes you surprise yourself. Already out in front by about a body length is Herb. He'll hand it off to Walls. Coming in with about 12.5 yards to go. Rochello still hanging by about a body length or so on Herb. But both of these going to be good times for this 100 backstroke. Herb will get it done just under 110. Rochello just about 112. Into the water for Maine Maritime is Aiden Walls. Aaron Madden for the Eagles. Quickly building an advantage is Walls with a nice quick stroke in the breaststroke. See Madden more relaxed, stretching out that stroke, using that bit of a glide to her advantage. Eagles behind by about 8 seconds. And about half a pool's length. But again, this one's going to be reeled back in quickly. Walls continuing to build on that lead as Madden heads into her final turn. Again, Walls will give it to Milo Cook-Sharp, and Madden will give it to Hunter Jackson for the 100 yards of butterfly. Into the water goes Cook-Sharp for the Mariners. Jackson getting himself ready. Knows he's got some room to make up. He knows he can do it. Almost an entire pool length now. As Jackson will go into the water. Cuts it down immediately off of a great start to almost half a pool length. But still plenty of ground to make up. He goes into his far turn. Already cut this lead down to a little bit under half of a pool length, with Cook-Sharp splitting 34-64 on her opening leg. But Jackson splitting that one 27-26. As Jackson already tracking her down, almost nipping at the heels as we head into this far turn. To the wall first is Cook-Sharp, but right behind her is Jackson, making up all of the ground on this one. As he's past her now, we'll give it off to Nathan Gilliam. Mackenzie Murray will take over for the Mariners, but Gilliam with the lead here as we head into the freestyle. 32-57 the final split for Jackson. So just under a minute in that 100 butterfly. And Gilliam out in front by about half a pool length in lane 3. There's Murray to the wall. But Gilliam out in front is going to touch at about the 4-minute mark. 26-64, his first split. And this 100 is a bit of a controlled sprint. It's about having enough to finish, but not leaving too much left in the pool. 36-83, the split for Murray. About a 14-second advantage for the Eagles. As Gilliam now inside the flags will cruise to the finish here in this first heat. Murray now at the far wall. Bringing this one back for the Mariners. And Murray will get it done. 43-59, her final split. Getting second in this first heat. The second heat is where things get interesting. We see a little bit different strategies from both teams, or all teams rather. St. Joseph's in lane 1 is going to go men, women, men, women. Maine Maritime in lane 2 is going to do the same. Or is going to have markedly lead off for the men. Snyder and Brewer will do the breaststroke and butterfly as the women, and Trout will round it out with a freestyle. And for UNE, it'll be also flip-flopped. Women, men, women, men. Eagles will go men, men, women, women. So we saw how that worked out for Maine Maritime in that first event. We'll see if that holds true for the Eagles in this one. And Maine Maritime will go women, men, men, women. So we've seen just about every kind of strategy in between all of these different relay teams. And I often found in my experience that these mixed relays, especially the medleys, were the most fun, just because it feels like there's a lot less on the line, and it's a little bit more of generating some more exciting races and getting a chance to swim with people that you don't get a chance to swim with otherwise. So in lane 1 are the Monks, Mariners in lane 2. In lane 4, Nor'easters, followed by the Eagles and Mariners in lanes 5 and 6. Out in front, the two men in lanes 2 and 5. That's Markley for the Mariners and a Walsh for the Eagles. And the three women just about even in lanes 1, 4, and 6. Markley to the wall first, 28-25, 28-59 does Walsh just behind him, but Walsh with a better turn off the wall. Looks like he's taking the lead for the Eagles. Walsh to the wall, just barely ahead of Markley. Walsh will hand it off to Emerson. Markley will give it to Snyder. So Emerson going to continue to build this lead for the Eagles. Snyder for the Mariners going to try to hold on to his best position as he can. Into the water for the Monks up there in lane 1 is Berkeley Hutchins. For UNE, Jeff Manata will do the breaststroke. Going to try to track down Hutchins. And maybe Snyder up there in lane 2 for the Mariners. Emerson out in front by about 3 body lengths as he heads into his first 50. Going to get there just under 130, 31.45 his split. Snyder still in second, holding on by about body length and a half over Manata. Burke just behind Manata for MMA in lane 6. Emerson now has the advantage by a bit over half of the pool. But again, they're going to hand it off to two women to try to close it out. Kayla Pace and Rachel Hand will do the butterfly and freestyle respectively for the Eagles. For UNE, it's going to be Adria Horton for the butterfly. They're at the moment in second. Burke trying to track them down in lane 6 for the Mariners. But it'll be Manata just out in front of Burke. Manata hands off to Horton. Burke goes to Mayer. And on the far side, Brewer and Fendel into the water in lanes 2 and 3 respectively for the Mariners and Monk. Still out in front is Payson by almost half a pool. Continuing to add on to this advantage, but Mayer going to try to track her down for the Mariners in lane 6, as well as Fendel in lane 1 for the for the Monks. The only 2 men in the pool at the moment. But Payson is going to be very hard to track down. Again, so good in this butterfly. Losing a bit of a lead, but still a sizable advantage for the Eagles. As it'll be Rachel Hand to enter the water. Payson finishing that one off, 35-11, her final split. Mayer will hand it off to Kopech in lane 6. They're in second. Gonna have to try to hold on over Antoine Miller for UNE in lane 3. Up there in lane 1, right, Kylie Matthews going to try to hold on in front of Carson Trout, who's going to make up a lot of ground for the second place finisher in the 200-yard or 100-yard freestyle at last year's North Atlantic Conference Championships. But still out in front is Hand, holding on to about half of a pool length's advantage. Trout still making up a lot of ground. He's passed one team already, passing Matthews in lane 1. Going to try to track down Meyer in lane 4, but Hand is going to cruise to a finish for the Eagles, getting it done just about 4:10. The Eagles take first place in the mixed 400-yard medley relay. Carson Trout with the late push for the Mariners to take second. Nor'easters will take third in Meyer. Matthews will get it done for the Monks in lane 4. And in lane 5, Kopeck closing it out for the Mariners. Again, we see really how the way you put your order can really determine how this race feels and how it finishes.
Event 6, women's 200-yard freestyle relay. In lane 3, UMaine Club Swimming, Emily Adams, Lauren Fracassa, Noelle Killarney, and Sky Van Beek. In lane 4, St. Joseph's College of Maine, Elise Susi, Gracie Parker, Samantha Miller, and Hannah Murphy. And in lane 5, University of New England, Emily Hinson, Sammy Slonaker, Aggie Sparry, and Kate Aviles. Mr. Official.
So this will be the women's 200-yard freestyle relay. 3 teams in this one. UMaine Club in lane 3, St. Joseph's in lane 4, and UNE in lane 5. It'll be Adams, Susi, and Hinson, respectively, to lead off down and back. Off we go. It'll be Hinson up first for UNE in lane 5. Trying to build on to a lead. She hits the wall first. It's Susi and Adams neck and neck in lanes 3 and 4. Hinson will hand off to Slonaker. Susi to Parker, and Adams to Fracassa. Still out in front is UNE with Slonaker. It's about half of a body length advantage as they head into the wall. Here's Parker trying to make a move on Slonaker as she'll hand it off to Miller. Slonaker will give it off to Sperry, and Fracassa will give it to Killarney. Killarney with a bit of ground to try to make up here in this third leg of the 200 freestyle relay. Sperry with still a bit of a lead, trying to hold on to that over Miller. Into the wall first. Sperry again over Miller by about a body length and a half, continuing to build on that lead. Will hand it off to Kate Aviles. Miller will hand it off to Murphy to try to reel it in, and Killarney will give it off to Sky Van Beek, who can definitely make up some ground on Murphy. Great start for Van Beek, but about a insurmountable advantage for Aviles in 5. Van Beek doing a great job to track down Murphy as they headed into the wall just about dead even. Van Beek now pulling out in front of Murphy, going to try to make a move on Aviles. Aviles into the last 5 is going to hold on over Van Beek, getting it done just under 2 minutes for the Nor'easters, 1:59.36. Black Bears get it done 2:01.84. And the Monks will round it out 2:02.76, a close finish between these 3 teams. This one's going to be a little bit closer here in Heat 2. Husson in lane 1, St. Joseph's in lane 2, UNE in lane 3, UMaine Club in lane 4, and MMA in lane 5. These are all A relays So this is going to go about as quick as it can.
Kat Christensen and Isabella Cost. Lane 2, St. Joseph's College, Maine. Brooke Cosciendo. Evelyn Sewell-Perrin, Tiffany Twombly, and Kylie Matthews. Lane 3, University of New England. Michaela Hughes. Eloise Ring. Jessica Russell. Adria Horton. Lane 4, UMaine Club Swimming. Venus Chiara. Claire Pellegrino. Susanna Davis, and Haley Harper. And lane 5, Maine Maritime Academy. Kylie Cantlin. Ava Schultz. Meadow Hughes, and Sage Getramont. Mr. Official.
It's Winslow, Podsiadlo, Hujus, Kiara, and Cantlin in order from 1 to 5, top to bottom of your screen. Out in front is Hujus in lane 3. She'll get to the wall first. Just behind her is Kiara. And in third, Podsiadlo for the Monks. Rounding out the podium at the moment, Hujus will give way to Ring, Kiara to Pellegrino, and Podsiadlo to Sewell-Perrin. The Eagles trying to make a move. Winslow to Gray and Cantlin to Schultz. As the Eagles and Mariners are dead even on the outsides of the pool, but in the middle, it's Hujus that's Ring to the wall first, followed by Pellegrino. Right after her is Sewell-Perrin. As Ring continues to build this lead, she'll hand it off to Jessica Russell. Claire Pellegrino will give it to Susanna Davis. And Sewell-Perrin will give it off to Tiffany Twombly. The Nor'easters still with about a body length advantage over the Black Bears. As that's Russell working on Davis. Twombly trying to make a move on Davis. Bringing this one a little bit closer over there in lane 2. A great turn for her as she's reeling in Davis. Russell still out in front. Will give it off to Adria Horton. Davis will give it to Haley Harper. And Twombly will give it off to Kylie Matthews. For the Monks up there in lane 2. Horton doing a great job of trying to track down Matthews. About a body length will separate the two. Matthews off the wall, or Horton off the wall first, followed by Harper. Matthews also right there. Eagles and Mariners also dueling it out, Cost and Dentremont. But here comes Horton to finish it off for the Nor'easters. Right behind her, Kylie Matthews. In third, Haley Harper gets second for the Black Bears. 148.29 the final time for the Nor'easters. Black Bears get it done 150.24, 153.19 for St. Joseph's. Maine Maritime will get it done 203.27. Eagles will round it out 205.26 their final time. Gonna hand it off to the men. Will be the Eagles in lane 2, Black Bears in lane 3, Mariners lane 4, Black Bears again in lane 5, and Mariners again in lane 6.
UMaine Club Swimming in lane 3. Drabby Medina, Drew Delaney, Dakota Grover, and Jeremy Morgan. And Dion. John Driscoll, Thomas Murray, and James Cregan. Lane 5, UMaine Club Swimming, Ian Ford, Brian Lynch, Thomas Murray, and Simon Cox. And lane 6, Maine Maritime Academy, Sawyer Carson, Oscar Gonzalez, Micah Calhoun, and Joshua Bean. Mr. Official.
The Eagles in lane 2 with Therio. Black Bears in lane 3 with Medina. Mariners lane 4 with Dion. Black Bears again with Flord. And Carson in lane 6 again for the Mariners. Getting away quickly there in lane 4 is Dion, followed by Therio in lane 2. It's them two to the wall first in lanes 4 and 2. Medina comes up first, or Dion comes up first for the Mariners. Therio still holding on to the wall first. Dion will hand it off to Driscoll. Therio to Pizer. And a duel in lanes 2 and 4 between these two conference rivals. In lane 5, UMaine Club with Lynch is in third, holding on out in front. It'll be the Eagles to the wall first. Pizer with a great leg will hand it off to Hunter Jackson. Driscoll will give way to Thomas Murray. And another Thomas Murray into the pool for the Black Bears. How often does that happen? Hunter Jackson still holding on to a lead over the Mariners. Murray in lane 4. Jackson will give way to Ben Carusi. Thomas Murray will give way to James Cregan. And Thomas Murray will also give way to Simon Fox for the Black Bears in lane 5. Carusi holding on in front over Cregan, but Cregan still trying to track him down, has a good wall. Carusi needs to finish strong to hold on in front for the Eagles. Cregan running out of time to make a move. It'll be Carusi to the wall first. 25-95, his split out in front of Cregan. Final time for the Eagles, 138-93. Mariners get it done, 140-43. In third is UMaine Club, 145-29. Followed by their other teammates getting it done, 149-74. And the Mariners will round out the field, 155-86. The Eagles with a great time up there in lane 1, 138-93. Good enough for a first in this first heat. In this second heat, it'll be the Monks in lane 2, the Mariners lane 3, Eagles right in the middle of the pool in lane 4, Black Bears in lane 5, and Nor'easters in lane 6.
Eli Lynn, Lucas Mendel, Sean Perry, and Zachary Cremore. Lane 3, Maine Maritime Academy, Brigham Grab, John Gilpin, Knox Ferland, and Jay Chouinard. Lane 4, Husson University, Ryan Emerson, Alex Walsh, Braden Champlin, Brady Hand. And lane 5, UMaine Club Swimming, Martin Granieri, Bradley Wallace, Hayden Willis, and Fletcher Marner. In lane 6, University of New England, Jeff Minata, Antoine Meyer, Michael Erickson, and Gio Bolakaitis. Mr. Official.
It is Eli Lint for the Monks, Brigham Graff for the Mariners, Ryan Emerson for the Eagles, Martin Guarnieri for the Black Bears, and Jeff Manata for the Nor'easters. Look in the middle of the pool, lanes 3 and 4. Graff and Emerson are going to go at it. Guarnieri also. But it's Emerson to the wall first on the far side, just out in front of Guarnieri and Graff. Emerson still out in front by just a hair, is going to give way to Alex Walsh. Graff to Gilpin and Guarnieri to Wallace. This one is tight. Walsh going to try to build on this lead, and he will. Now out in front by about half a body length there in lane 4. Neck and neck still in lanes 3 and 5. Gilpin and Wallace. Walsh coming up strong is going to give it away to Champlin. Gilpin to Fernard. Wallace will give it to Willis. Champlin into the water. Neck and neck still are the Mariners and Black Bears. Fernald and Willis going to try to track down Champlin. Fernald doing a great job there in lane 3, getting out in front of Willis. Champlin still out in front, but losing some ground to Fernald. Brady Hand for the anchor leg for the Eagles, going to have to bring it home fast in front of Chouinard. Willis to Mariner. Hand now out in front with a great start by about a body length, but Chouinard can make up some ground. Hand to the wall first. Chouinard right behind him with a great turn, makes up a lot of ground on that. But Hand holding strong out in front. Chouinard trying to make him late move, but he won't get it done. It'll be Brady Hand to finish it for the Eagles. 22-32. 22-71 the split for Chouinard. 1:32:13, the time for the Eagles. That is a very fast time, especially for this early in the season. 1:33:66 for the Mariners, 1:37 flat for the Black Bears. In lane 2, the Monks with 1:51:64. And in lane 6, UNE will get it done 1:57:24. That was a fast finish to a fast event. This will end our first segment of swimming as we get set for the diving. But we can really see here, it's meant to be a fun meet, but these swimmers are still very competitive. They're going to make these races close.
Yeah, even though it's right at the beginning of the season, these competitors all have that drive in them, no matter what sport it is, including swimming. Swimming is one of those ones that you get to have some fun with your teammates, and you get to compete at the same time.
Absolutely. So we're going to step aside for a couple of minutes and get set for diving here from the Weber Pool on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Back here for diving, we will have 6 rounds, 8 divers apiece. It'll be Emma Browden set to start off from MMA, doing a 103C, difficulty 1.6, forward 1.5 somersaults from the tuck position.
Judges awards.
Judges scores 4, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, and 5.
4 1/2, 5. Nick Sawyer.
Next will be Nick Sawyer from the Husson Eagles. He will be doing a 103C, difficulty 1.6, forward 1.5 somersaults from the tuck position. Judges score 6, 7 1/2, 6 1/2, 6 and 7. Next is Spencer Bernay, 104B, difficulty 2.3, forward 2 somersaults from the pike position.
Judges awards.
Judges scores 4 1/2, 5, 5, 4 1/2, 6.
4 1/2.
Natasha Kopek is next. 103B, difficulty 1.7, forward 1.5 somersaults from the pike position.
Judges awards.
Judges score 5, 6, 5 1/2, 6, 5 1/2.
6.
Next is Riley Mahoney, 103B, difficulty 1.7, forward 1.5 somersaults from the pike position. Judges score 5 1/2, 7, 6 1/2, 7, 6.
7.
Lily Butler with a 302C, difficulty 1.6, reverse 1 somersault from the tuck position.
Julia Brown, forward dive, straight position. Lily, reverse somersault, tuck. Judges awards.
Judges score 4 1/2, 5, 4 1/2, 5, 4 1/2.
Julia, forward dive.
Julia Brown with a 101A, difficulty 1.4, forward dive from the straight position. Judges scores 3 1/2, 3 1/2, 3 1/2, 3 and 4. Oliver Cox with a 5121D, difficulty 1.7, forward 1 somersault, 1/2 twist from the free position. Judges scored 7 1/2, 6, 6 1/2, 6 1/2, and 4.
Beginning the second round of diving, Emma, reverse somersault top.
In the second round, Emma Brondon with a 302C, difficulty 1.6, reverse 1 somersault from the tuck position. Judges score 5 1/2, 5 1/2, 6, 5 1/2, 5.
Nick, forward 2 somersault.
Nick Sawyer with a 104C, difficulty 2.2, forward 2 somersaults from the tuck position. Judges score 5 1/2, 5 1/2, 4 1/2, 5, and 5.
Spencer, forward 1 1/2 somersault.
Spencer Bernay with a 51-32D. Difficulty 2.2, forward 1 1/2 somersault, 1 twist from the free position. Scores 6, 5, 5, 6 1/2, and 5 1/2.
Riley, forward 2 somersault top. I'm sorry, Natasha.
Natasha with a 201A, difficulty 1.7, back dive from the straight position. Judges scores 4 1/2, 5 1/2, 5, 6, 5 1/2.
5 1/2, 6.
Riley Mahoney's second dive is a 104C, difficulty 2.2, forward 2 somersaults from the tuck position. Judges scores 6, 5 1/2, 5, 6, and 5.
6. Lily, forward 1 1/2
Lily Butler's second dive is a 103C, a difficulty 1.6, forward 1 1/2 somersaults from the tuck position. Judges scores 5 1/2, 5 1/2, 4 1/2, 5, and 5.
5.
Julia Brown's second dive is a 102C, difficulty 1.4, forward 1 somersaults from the tuck position. Judges scores 3 1/2, 4, 3, 3 1/2, 3 1/2.
4, 3 1/2. Oliver, forward.
Oliver Cox's second dive is a 103C, difficulty 1.6, forward 1 1/2 somersaults from the tuck position. Judges scores 6, 5 1/2, 5, 5, 4.5.
And welcome to round 3, where Emma Browning of Maine Maritime will be going with a 51-21D, difficulty 1.7, forward 1 somersault, 1 half twist from the free position. Judges' scores: 3, 4, 3, 4 and 1/2, 3 and 1/2. Nick Sawyer from Husson University will be doing a 401C, 1.4 difficulty, inward dive from the tuck position. Judges' scores: 6, 5 and 1/2, 5 and 1/2, 5 and 1/2, 5 and 1/2. Spencer Burnett, Husson, doing a 303C, difficulty 2.1, reverse 1 and 1/2 somersaults from the tuck position. Judges' scores: 4 and 1/2, 5 and 1/2, 6 and 1/2, 5 and 1/2, 5 and 1/2. Natasha Kopek of Maine Maritime will be doing a 202A, 1.7 difficulty, back 1 somersault from the straight position. Judges' scores: 5, 6 and 1/2, 6, 6 and 1/2, 6 and 1/2. Riley Mahoney from Husson University will be doing a 302B, 1.7 difficulty, reverse 1 somersault from the pike position. Judges' scores: 4 and 1/2, 5, 4 and 1/2, 5, 4 and 1/2. Lily Butler from Husson University will be doing a 102A, 1.6 difficulty, 1 forward somersault from the straight position.
Judges' awards.
Judges' scores: 4, 4, 4, 4, and 4. Julia Brown from Husson University will be doing a 201A, 1.7 difficulty, back dive from the straight position. Judges' scores: 3 and 1/2, 3, 4, 4, and 4. To round out round 3, Oliver Cox from Maine Maritime Academy will be doing a 401C, 1.4 difficulty, inward dive from the tuck position. Judges' scores: 5 and 1/2, 5, as we await the results of the other 3 judges. Scores 5 1/2, 6, 5, 5 1/2, and 5.
6, 5 1/2. Initiating the 4th round of diving. Emma, back dive straight.
Emma Browden of Maine Maritime Academy will kick off round 4 with a 201A, 1.7 difficulty, back dive from the straight position. Judges' scores 5 1/2, 5, 5, 6, and 6.
6, 6.
Nick Sawyer will be doing his 4th dive of the contest, 202C, 1.5 difficulty, back 1 somersault from the tuck position. Judges' scores 5, 4 1/2, 5, 4 1/2, and 5.
5, 4 1/2.
Spencer Bernay of Husson University will be doing a 203B, 2.3 difficulty, back 1 1/2 somersault from the pike position. Judges' scores 6 1/2, 6, 6 1/2, 6 1/2, and 6.
6 1/2.
Natasha Kopek of Maine Maritime will be doing a 52-21D, 1.7 difficulty, back 1 somersault, half twist from the free position. Judges' scores 6 1/2, 6 1/2, 6, 7, and 6 1/2.
6 1/2. 6 1/2.
Riley Mahoney of Husson will be doing a 52-31D, 2.1 difficulty, back 1 1/2 somersaults, half twist from the free position. Judges' scores 5 1/2, 5 1/2, 5 1/2, 5 1/2, and 4 1/2.
4 1/2. 5 1/2.
Lily Butler of Husson will be doing a 51-21D, 1.7 difficulty, forward 1 somersault, half twist from the free position. Judges' scores 5 across the board.
5, 5, 5, 5.
Julia Brown of Husson will be doing a 202C, 1.5 difficulty, back 1 somersault from the tuck position. A no dive has been ruled.
Inward 1.5 somersault.
Oliver Cox rounds out round 4 from Maine Maritime with a 403C, 2.2 difficulty, inward 1.5 somersault from the tuck position. Judges' scores: 7.5, 6, 6.5, 6, 7.5. That concludes round 4. Round 5 will kick off with Emma Browden of Maine Maritime with a 202A, 1.7 difficulty, back 1 somersault from the straight position. Judges' scores: 5, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, and 5. Nick Sawyer of Husson will be doing a 302C, 1.6 difficulty, reverse 1 somersault from the tuck position. Judges' scores: 5.5, 5, 6, 6, and 5.5.
6.5, 5.5, 5.5, Thank you, Peter.
Spencer Bernay of the Eagles will be doing a 403C, 2.2 difficulty, inward 1.5 somersaults from the tuck position. Judges' scores: 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, and 5. Natasha Kopek of Maine Maritime will be doing a 401C, 1.4 difficulty, inward dive from the tuck position. Judges' scores: 5.5, 6, 6, 5, and 5.5. Riley Mahoney of Husson University will be doing a 402C, 1.6 difficulty, inward 1 somersault from the tuck position. And the judges score: 5, 1.5, 5.5, 5.5, 6.5, 6, and 6.5. Lily Butler of Husson will be doing a 202A, 1.7 difficulty, back 1 somersault from the straight position. And the judges' scores are 4.5, 4.5, 4, 4.5, and 5.5. Julia Brown of Husson will be doing a 401C, 1.4 difficulty, inward dive from the tuck position. And the judges' scores are 4 1/2, 4 1/2, 4 1/2, 5, and 5 1/2. Oliver Cox of Maine Maritime rounds out round 5 with a 201B, difficulty 1.6, back dive from the pike position. Judges' scores 5, 5, 5, 5, and 5 1/2. The 6th and final round of this diving competition will kick off with Emma Browndon, who will be doing a 401C, difficulty 1.4, inward dive from the tuck position. The judges' scores 6, 6, 6, 5 1/2, and 6 1/2. The final dive of Husson's Nick Sawyer will be doing a 51-22D, difficulty 1.9, forward 1 somersault, 1 twist from the free position. And the judges' scores 4, 4 1/2, 3 1/2, 3 1/2, and 2 1/2.
3 1/2, 4, 3 1/2, 4 1/2.
Spencer Bernay of Husson University will finish with a 105C, difficulty 2.4, forward 2 1/2 somersaults from the tuck position. A no dive has been ruled by the judges. Natasha Kopek of Maine Maritime will finish with a 302C, difficulty 1.6, reverse 1 somersault from the tuck position. The judges' scores are 4 1/2, 5 1/2, 5, 5, and 5. Riley Mahoney of Husson University will finish with a 201A, difficulty 1.7, back dive from the straight position. The judges' scores are 5, 5, 4 1/2, 6 1/2, and 5 1/2. The final dive of the contest from Lily Butler of Husson will be doing a 402C, difficulty 1.6, inward, 1 somersault from the tuck position. And the judges' scores 5, 5, 5 1/2, 5 1/2, and 6. That concludes our diving portion of the contest. I will turn it back to Zeep and Moss for the rest of the swimming events.
We're going to step aside, but when we come back, it'll be the women's 400-yard medley relay followed by the men. The final 6 events coming your way on the Husson Eagles Sports Network. Back here out of the breaks, Ethan Moss alongside Jacob Ouellette, bringing you the final 7 events here in today's contest. We're going to start it off with the medley relays, the 400-yard. Men and women will go, followed by the 200-yard backstroke, 200-yard breaststroke, and the mixed 400-yard freestyle relay. So it's going to be a fun finish as we prepare for that just out of the diving, which honestly never ceases to amaze me. I've been watching it for many years, and it's just, every time I watch it, it's just like, I don't understand how that's happening. I could never do it personally.
Right, no, me neither. Every time I would try and dive, I'd probably hit my head on the board, which would not feel well.
Oh, no, definitely not. I mean, it calls back to like Greg Louganis and some of the legends of diving. Just can never do that myself. Not that agile, at least through the air. Used to be very graceful in the water. At least I think so. But we get set.
You thought so.
We get set for the 400 medley relay. University of New England will be led off by Olivia Rue in lane 1. MMA in lane 2 with Elizaveta Zukov. Tiffany Twombly will lead off for the Monks in lane 3. And Husson University in lane 5, led off by Rachel Hand. And UNE in lane 6, led off by Emily Hinson. Again, they'll be starting off with the backstroke, moving into breaststroke, butterfly, and freestyle, 100 of each length. One heat in this relay. It's Rue, Zukov, Twombly, Hand, and Hinson in the water in this 400-yard medley relay. Out in front is Hand. To the wall first. On the far side, Hand closely followed by Twombly of St. Joe's. This is the 400-yard individual medley relay. Apologies. So it's going to be 25 yards of each stroke. Hand out in front as she heads into the breaststroke. And a 3-way tie on the far side, lanes 1, 2, and 3 as they head into the breaststroke. Rue, Zukov, and Twombly very close between the 3 of them. Hand still out in front by about a body length. And Hinson just behind the group of 3 by about a body length and a half as Hand continues to build that lead heading into the final leg of freestyle. Followed by Twombly and Rue up there in lane 1. Hand will give it to Erin Madden. Twombly to Berkeley Hutchins, and Olivia Rue to Eloise Ring. Right behind her, Milo Cook Sharp for MMA. Caitlin Cornier for the Nor'easters in lane 6. The Eagles continuing to build on that lead as Madden takes a turn on the far side. Still neck and neck are the Nor'easters and Monks in lanes 1 and 3. MMA has some ground to make up in lane 2 with Cornier making a move for UNE on Milo Cook Sharp. Madden still out in front by a couple of body lengths, and again still close are Ring and Hutchins for UNE and St. Joe's. But starting to come up on the leader in Madden are those two teams. Onto the far wall, it's Madden by about 2 body lengths. Still neck and neck are Hutchins and Ring. Cook Sharp holding on just out in front of Cornier in the breaststroke as they head into the freestyle. Madden will hand it off to Hannah Suter. Hutchins to Susie, and Ring to Falstad, heading into this 3rd leg of this individual medley relay. We are going to try to build on that lead with a great start. Now it's extending this one to about 3 body lengths as the Eagles are in command of this one. Susi starting to come up a little bit on Suter as well as Falstad in the backstroke as we head into the breaststroke. Suter with the open turn. Falstad is just out in front of Susi. Brewer right there as well. Just behind her is Russell. Suter's lead fading a bit as Falstad and Susi coming up as we head into the freestyle. It'll be up to Kayla Payson to bring it home for the Eagles. Susi will give it to Brooke Podsiadlo and Falstad to Megan Cabral as we're going to have a close finish. About a body length between the leaders and third place at the moment. Payson goes in with a body length advantage over Podsiadlo with a long start. Still going to be a tough task to reel it in on Payson. Snyder going to try to hold on in front of Mia Meister for the Nor'easters. But right now it's all Eagles in lane 5. Payson still holding on to about a body length and a half over Podsiadlo and Cabral, who are still neck and neck. Just out in front is Podsiadlo over Cabral. And a long turn from Cabral may have cost them that position. Payson still out in front. Podsiadlo is creeping, but not enough time to mount a comeback heading into the freestyle for Payson. Looking to bring it home out in front. Podsiadlo and Cabral still real close with each other. Payson continuing with that lead is going to bring it home for the Eagles. It'll be Podsiadlo in front of Cabral to get it done for the Monks. Nor'easters finish in third. It'll be Maine Maritime with Snyder getting fourth and rounding it out for the Nor'easters in lane 6. Mia Meister will bring it home. Eagles get it done 4:42.94, 4:46.51. The time for St. Joe's. UNE gets it done 4:47.86. That was a close race that entire time between those two teams. Maine Maritime in fourth, 4:56.54. And UNE 5:03.87. We look into the men's 400-yard individual medley relay. For the Eagles in lane 2, the Mariners in lane 3, the Eagles again in lane 4, and the Mariners again in lane 5. It'll be Pizer to lead off, followed by Mayer, Walsh, and Walls, respectively, from 2 to 5.
Gilliam and Brady Hand. And lane 5, Maine Maritime Academy, Aiden Walls, Oscar Gonzalez, Brendan Dion, and Griffin Herder. Is it official?
This one is going to be another duel between these two North Atlantic Conference rivals, Maine Maritime and Husson, going at it. Out in front early are the two Husson teams. Pizer to the wall first, followed by Walsh. There's Mayer and Walls bringing it up for Maine Maritime. Mayer, great in the backstroke, is going to bring it up to make it a three-way tie right now. Walsh will go to the wall first as we head into the breaststroke. Walls will bring up the rear just about a half a second behind the leader. This one's a close one. Walsh with a long turn gets out in front of Mayer. Pizer right there with him. Walsh using his frame to try to get out in front. Walls right there as well, now tied with Pizer as we head into the freestyle leg. It'll be Walsh giving it off to Ryan Emerson, Mayer to Lincoln Graff, Pizer to Isaiah Stereo, and Walls to Oscar Gonzalez. Once again, they will go butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, freestyle. Therio going to try to make up some ground on Graff, going out hard in the butterfly. Emerson with commanding lead, about a body length and a half off of the far wall into the backstroke leg. As Emerson still building that lead for the Eagles. And a fantastic pickup for this team. Great throughout all of last year, one of the key members as a freshman. And off that wall, Graff did not have the greatest of walls, so Therio now with a chance to try to catch up. Oscar Gonzalez also hanging tough there in lane 5 for the Mariners, but it's all Emerson right now. He's going to bring it home in the freestyle. Going to hand it off to Nathan Gilliam. Graff right there with Therio in a bit of a battle. It'll be Graff to give it off to Burke. Therio to Ben Carusi. Burke goes in, followed by Carusi, about a half a second in between the two of them. Carusi up quick, already trying to track down Burke. Gilliam still out in front on the backstroke, building this lead to almost half a pool, and a long turn. He comes up almost 3/4 of the way. Gotta love that. Cruising home, 28-22, the split for Gilliam. Carusi bringing it up hard on Burke. Burke splitting 30-24. Carusi splitting 30-60. As we head into the breaststroke, Gilliam again still way out in front, almost half a pool length behind Carusi and Burke, or in front of Carusi and Burke. Brendan Dion in the water for Maine Maritime in lane 5. Burke has built a little bit on Carusi, as Gilliam will give way to Brady Hand, now in command of this race. Burke will give way to John Markley, and Carusi to Jacob Brown. This one far and away the Eagles' race to lose in lane 4. Now over half of a pool length in front of the Mariners in lane 3. Brown in lane 2 goes into the backstroke, fading a little bit as the Mariners in lane 5 with Griffin Erb going to try to make a move and snag third here. Brady Hand way out in front. Burke's closing some ground, but not enough time, not enough distance to try and close that big lead for the Eagles. That was really Gilliam that put him out in front for good. Emerson had a great leg as well. Brown still trying to hold on in front of Erb. Brady Hand will get it done for the Eagles in first. Coming home is John Markley for the Mariners. 4:01.06 for the Eagles in lane 1. A quick time in lane 2 for the Mariners. 4:08.60. Jacob Brown will hold on for the Eagles, getting it done. 37:20 his final split. Good enough for third. And a final time of 4:21.59. Erb will get it done. 4:24.58. The final time for the Mariners. We're going to hand it off to now the backstroke relay. This one's going to get a little interesting. These starts, obviously you can't start in the water on a relay start, so you're just going to flip over and resume the backstroke after diving in regularly. The 400 IM relay is always an interesting one to watch. You can see how a lot of those teams have very good IMers, or people who are great in the breaststroke and the backstroke, those middle legs, and that's how you can really build that lead. We saw that with the Eagles.
Yeah, absolutely. With Emerson and Gilliam, they took control of the laps there and just brought the Eagles out to a very sizable advantage, winning it by almost 7.5 seconds.
And was able to cruise to a finish there.
Women's 200-yard backstroke relay.
And now for the backstroke relay in lane 3, Husson in lane 4, UNE. It'll be Mia Winslow to lead off for the Eagles, and for the Nor'easters, Maggie Sperry
And lane 4, University of New
will
England.
start it off.
Maggie Spark, Emily Hinson, Katie Derua, Rita Vilas.
One of the officials explaining to some of the competitors how we're going to do these starts, as we just explained. brief delay here to ensure we have all the swimmers in the right lanes. A bit of a mix-up there. And Mia Winslow to lead off for the Eagles. Maggie Sperry for the Nor'easters. They head into the far side. Right now, Mia Winslow out in front. Just a little bit over Sperry. Again, this one just down and back for each leg. Winslow will hand it off to Suter with about half a body length lead of the Nor'easters in Sperry. We'll give it off to Hinson. Again, we're going to roll over in the water. And it's Suter now trying to hold on in front of Hinson, but Hinson had a great start and gets to the wall on the far side just behind Suter. And now with another great wall, gets out in front. Suter is going to hand it to Isabel Cost, and Hinson to Katie Duray. Duray will get into the water just out in front of Cost. And a good start for Duray as well. Now built this lead out to about a body length over the Eagles in lane 3. Great turn for Cost, brings it right back in to Duray. He's going to give it off to Kate Aviles, and Cost will give it to Maggie Poulin. Trying to bring it home here in this first heat of the 200 backstroke relay. Poulin with a safe start and can make up some ground. A long underwater. She's going to come up right at the 15-meter mark. Well done from Poulin. Aviles just about pacing with Poulin. Still going to be a tough time to try to bring it back, but Poulin with a great wall has her within a body length now. Made up already a body length on that first 25, but not quite enough time to catch up to Aviles, who will finish in first for the Nor'easters. Poulin gets it done in second, splitting 35-34 for the Eagles. 2:19.67 the final time for the Eagles, and 2:16.54 for the Nor'easters. Now to heat 2. In lane 2 for UNE, Jessica Russell will lead it off. In lane 3 for the Mariners, Elizaveta Zukov. For the Black Bears in lane 4, Susanna Davis. For the Eagles in lane 1, Grace Rochello. And for the Monks in lane 6, Brianna Latorno.
Hunter Jackson. In lane 3, Maine Maritime Academy. John Markilli, Lincoln Graff, John Driscoll, and Carson Trout. In lane 4, UMaine Club Swimming, Hayden Willis, Mark Garnieri, Travis Pina, and Jeremy Morgan. In lane 5, Brigham Graff, John Gilpin, Thomas Murray, and James Freegan. In lane 6, Jacob Brown, Nathan Gilliam, Ben Carusi, and Brady Mann.
Yeah, this is heat 2 of the women From top to bottom, UNE, Maine Maritime, UMaine Club, Husson, and St. Joe's. Out in front is Zukov of MMA, followed by Rochello of Husson. And closely followed by Davis and Russell of UNE and Maine, respectively. Into the wall first will be Rochello, giving way to Payson. It'll be Zukov to Kent, Davis to Adams, and Russell to Ring. Latorno gives it off to Parker for St. Joseph's in lane 6. Still out in front are the Eagles trying to track down Payson is Ring in lane 2 from UNE. Just behind her off the wall, has a better turn than Payson. And right now, dead even are those two are the leaders. Payson will give it off to Madden, Ring to Rue as they go dead even into the wall. Right behind is Adams, will give it off to Lauren Fracassa for the Black Bears. Kent to Hughes for the Mariners, and to the Monks, Parker to Murphy. As now out in front are the Nor'easters on the far side. That's Olivia Rue trying to build a bit of a lead over the Eagles. Hanging tough right now is Madden. Going to keep it close for Rachel Hand. Caitlin Cornier for the Nor'easters going to try to bring it home out in front. Out in front by about half of a second. Comes up quick. Hand with the long underwater going to cut that lead down to next to nothing as we head into the far side. It's Cornier just in front of Hand as they hit the wall dead even on the turn. Still in third are the Black Bears with Sky Van Beek bringing it home. Here comes Hand trying to close it out over Cornier, building a bit of an advantage. She gets it on 28-55. Her final split, 31-60 the split for Cornier. And Van Beek will close it out for the Black Bears, 30-69. Her final split. For St. Joseph's, Samantha Miller trying to hang on in front of Kylie Cantlin for the Mariners. 36-49, her split. And that'll round out the podium. 2:04.55, the winning time for the Eagles, followed by the Nor'easters up there in lane 2, 2:06.40. 2:13.56, the time for the Black Bears in lane 4. Monks get it done 2:21.77 and 2:25.56. The time for the Mariners in lane 5. It's time for the men. Just one heat in this one. Ryan Lynch will lead it off for the Black Bears in lane 1. It'll be Ryan Emerson for the Eagles in lane 2. The Mariners will start it off with John Markley. Black Bears again will go with Hayden Willis in lane 4. In lane 5, Mariners are going with Brigham Graff. And Jacob Brown will start it off for the Eagles in lane 6. Sorting out some of the names from the last relay, trying to get that settled down, another cause for delay. And we're ready to go. Away we go in the 200-yard backstroke relay. Out in front at the moment is Markley for the Mariners. Emerson right on his heels in lane 2 for the Eagles. In lane 4, sticking with him is Willis of the Black Bears. Those three dead even as they head into the wall. Brigham Graff also there. as it's Markley and Emerson duking it out for first. Emerson gets to the wall first, hands it off to Alex Walsh. Lincoln Graff will be in the water for the Mariners. Martin Guarnieri takes over for the Black Bears. And John Gilpin for the Mariners in lane 5. Walsh trying to build a bit of a lead for the Eagles in lane 2, out in front by about a body length with a long turn on the far side. Markley again trying to track him down, holding out in front of Guarnieri. But Guarnieri will give Gravy Medina a bit of an advantage over John Driscoll as he has Therio in the water for the Eagles. Thomas Murray in the water for the Mariners in lane 5. Onto the far side, it's still the Eagles out in front by, again, about a body length. John Driscoll trying to track down Therio. Medina hanging tough there in third right now in lane 4. Therio will give way to Hunter Jackson. Driscoll to Carson Trout, and Medina to Jeremy Morgan. Trout is going to try to make a move on Jackson. He's hanging tough, but already losing almost half of a body length. They had a body length and a half heading into that exchange. Jackson gonna try to hang tough, but here comes Trout heading into the final 5. Jackson hanging tough. Trout trying to glide off of him. It'll be Jackson to the wall first. 26-93. His split gets it done for the Eagles. Coming in quickly for the Black Bears, Jeremy Morgan will get it done in front of James Cregan. Creeping up on him there. Eagles get it done 148-69 their final time. Mariners with a 149-23. 155-79 the time for the Black Bears in lane 4, despite losing the goggles. And lane 5 in fourth is Maine Maritime, 158.07. In fifth, Husson again with 202.53, and on the far side, UMaine Club getting it done 219.78. And it'll be the 200-yard breaststroke relay now. Westgate will lead it off for the Monks in lane 1. For the Eagles in lane 2, Rochello will start it off. Sky Van Beek will do it for the Black Bears in lane 3. Sage Detremont for the Mariners in lane 4. In lane 5 for the Monks will be Evelyn Sewell-Parent, and Cabral will lead it off for the Nor'easters in lane 6.
Lane 4, Maine Maritime Academy.
Event 14 of 16 here. Heading towards a good finish in this first meet of the year.
And in lane 6, University of New England, Megan Cabral, April Falstad, Mia Meisler, and Sammy Sonic. Is that official?
Top to bottom, St. Joseph's, Husson, UMaine Club, Maine Maritime, St. Joseph's again, and UNE. Right now, Evelyn Sewell-Parent out in front for UNE. Sage Detremont right there with her for Maine Maritime, but it's Megan Cabral to the wall first for UNE in lane 6. Building on that lead. And she's going to hand it off to April Falstad for the Nor'easters. Sewell-Parent to Kylie Matthews. Detremont to Milo Cook-Sharp. Rochello in lane 2 for the Eagles will give it off to Madden. Sky Van Beek starting it off for the for the Black Bears. Gives it to Amelia Pillis and Westgate to Susie. Nor'easters with a good advantage in lane 6. That's Falstad to the wall first, about body length and a half over the very close race for second between Madden, Cook-Sharp, and Matthews. Right now, in order, Matthews, Cook-Sharp, and Madden, it appears to be, as Falstad will give it to Mia Meister. Cook-Sharp to Murray. Matthews to Hutchins. and Madden to Mackenzie Gray. Eagles at the moment in second. It'll be Gray against Hutchins. Try and hit that into the third leg, or the fourth leg of this relay. That's Hutchins to the wall first over Gray. Making a move for the Black Bears is Kiara. She's made up a lot of ground and passed Mackenzie Murray of MMA. Now shooting past Gray in lane 2. Now into second place are the Black Bears. Hutchins will give way to Tiffany Twombly for the Monks as they're out in front. Haley Harper for the Black Bears, Kat Christensen for the Eagles, and Ava Snyder for the Mariners. Trying to pull off a great comeback here are the Black Bears. Snyder's trying to hang on over Harper. Harper with a great turn, now down to less than a body length as we head into the final 12 and a half. Harper still out in front, or trying to track down Snyder to the touch. It'll be Snyder out in front of Harper. And here comes, that was Twombly for St. Joe's. Snyder bringing it home for the Mariners. But the Monks get it done 228-67. And in second, Black Bears 229-38. In third, UNE in lane 6 getting it done 235-71. In fourth, the Mariners 242-21 there. Final time 248-96. The time for the Monks up there in lane 5, and 253-91 the time for Husson in lane 6. As we get set for the men, it'll be just 3 Eagles in lane 2. They'll start off with Nathan Gilliam. Jeremy Morgan will lead it off for the Black Bears in lane 3. And Herb will lead it off for the Mariners in lane 4.
Aiden Walls, Joshua Bean, and Aiden Burke. Mr. Official.
Gilliam up first in lane 2 for the Eagles. Herb is right there with him. Into the wall first. It'll be Herb, followed by Gilliam and Morgan. Gilliam again up first, right even with Herb of MMA. Morgan just behind the leaders. Into the wall, it'll be Herb giving it to Walls. Gilliam to Carusi. Morgan to Grover. Good start for Walls just in front of Carusi. And a great start for Grover of the Black Bears, trying to bring it in on his former teammate Carusi. But hanging tough right now is Walls, still out in front, trying to build a bit of a lead on the Eagles in lane 2. About half of a body length of lead right now for the Mariners. Walls will hand it off to Joshua Bean, Carusi to Sam Pizer. Dakota Grover will give it off to Martin Guarnieri. As that's Bean into the water. Pizer now. About a second separate the Mariners and Eagles. Black Bears now behind by about 2 body lengths behind the Eagles heading into this third leg. On the far wall, dead even are Pizer and Bean. Pizer with the great turn gets out in front now of the Mariners. Going to try to bring it home, giving it off to Spencer Bernay for the anchor leg. Bean will give it off to Aiden Burke. Pizer does his job, gives Bernay a body length and a half, and bringing it back all the way in is Guarnieri for the Black Bears. Gives it off to Quinn Burns, now in second over the Mariners. Going to try to track down Bernay in lane 2. It's a race now between lanes 3 and 4. Black Bears have come back as they head into the wall. Bernay finishes third on that. Coming back home the other way. It's a race between Burns and Burke. Lanes 3 and 4. The Black Bears out in front in Burke to the wall. Shoots first and gets it done. 29-83 his split. And Bernay will finish 38-72 his split Time of 2:13.89 for the Black Bears as they come back to win it in the final two legs. Guarnieri and Burns piece that together well. Bean and Burke, the final two for the Mariners, result in a 2:14.10 and 2:19.63 for the Eagles up there in lane 3. Next, we've got a 400-yard freestyle relay. This will be 3 heats, starting off with Maine Maritime in lane 2, Husson in lane 3, Maine in lane 4, and Maine Maritime in lane 5. Again, this is going to be hard to judge how the places may be, but all 4 teams in this one starting off with men. So we'll see how this plays out. Again, it's always very interesting to watch and see the strategy, how it plays out differently for different teams. It feels like there's no right formula to win.
Mackenzie Murray and Joshua Bean. Mr. Official.
Final event underway in the 400-yard freestyle relay. Fernald in the water for the Mariners. Brown in the water for the Eagles. For the Black Bears, Medina and Gilpin for the Mariners in lane 5. Right now it's all Mariners as Fernald and Gilpin get to the wall first, followed by Brown and Medina. Coming home in the first 50. Good advantage for the Mariners. Fox Fernald doing his job, starting off with a 25-14. Right behind him is Gilpin, 26-55. Brown with a 28-87. And rounding out the first 50, Medina with a 31-90. Fernald continuing to build his lead. Here comes Fernald, who will hand it off to Eva Schultz. Gilpin will give way to Haley Kent. Brown will give it off to Hunter Jackson, who will be the only man in the water, as Medina will give it off to Claire Pellegrino. So we'll expect to see the Eagles jump out in front here, but again, they won't have another man going, so that leaves the window open to make up a lot of ground for these other teams, 2 of which have elected to end up with a man as the anchor leg. Jackson already working out in front, takes 150 to get out in front of Schultz in lane 2. Pellegrino trying to reel in Haley Kent of the Mariners in lane 5, as now Jackson out in front by about a body length and a half over Schultz. Builds this lead, will hand it off to Kat Christensen. Schultz will give it off to Sage Detremont. Coming the other way, Haley Kent is going to give it to Mackenzie Murray in lane 5. And for the Black Bears, Claire Pellegrino is going to give it off to Drew Delaney. Now about 3 body lengths of a lead for the Eagles. Christensen in lane 3 is going to try to hold on to this one in front of Detremont. Drew Delaney is going to be able to make up a bit of ground as the only man in the water for the Black Bears. Trying to make up ground on Mackenzie Murray. Detremont with a great leg starting off in this opening 50. He's already caught up to Christensen. And Christensen will hit the wall first and just in front. As they're neck and neck in lanes 2 and 3. Detremont made up a lot of ground. And now just barely in front of Christensen. He's trying to hang tough. Dead even on the near side are the Black Bears and Maine Maritime. Drew Delaney for UMaine, and for the Mariners, Mackenzie Murray. Now Detremont with about a body length and a half over Christensen. Going to give way to Brendan Dion. Isabella Cost will enter the water for the Eagles. Will try to hold on in front of Joshua Bean, who will close it out for the Mariners. Drew Delaney bringing it home. Will hand it off to Susanna Davis. And a big lead for the Mariners. Brendan Dion is going to be able to cruise out in front. Puts 25-25 on his opening 50. Amanda Lacoste with about a pool length in front of Bean will most likely hold on to second. Brendan Dion again is going to cruise to a finish. Susanna Davis in the water for the Black Bears, holding on right now in front of Bean, but Bean, a great turn, is trying to reel her in as they head to their final lengths. 4:01.87 the final time for the Mariners in lane 1. Cost bringing it home for the Eagles. And a good race here in the middle of the pool. Bean tracking down Davis, trying to shoot past her as we head into the final few meters. Bean to the touch in front of Davis, gets it done. 4:20.70 the time for the Eagles, good enough for second. The Mariners in lane 5, 4:33.38, 4:33.77 the final time for the Black Bears. Final 2 heats here today.
400-yard freestyle relay.
Maine Maritime Academy in lane 2 will start off with Kylie Cantlin. Husson in lane 3 is going to start off with Alex Walsh. The Black Bears will start off with Emily Adams. Eli Lynch will start it for the Monks in lane 5. And for UNE, it'll be Megan Cabral.
Lane 4, UMaine Club Swimming. Emily Adams, Ines Kiara, Quinn Burns, Fletcher Mariner. Lane 5, St. Joseph's College of Maine. Eli Lynn, Brianna Letourneau, Gracie Parker, Elise Susi. And in lane 6, University of New England, Megan Cabral, Katie Doria, Mia Meister, and Caitlin Cornoyer. Mr. Official.
Again, it's Cantlin, Walsh, Adams, Lint, and Cabral from top to bottom of your screen. Walsh is going to get out in front. No surprise here as the Eagles will lead off with a man here. Already about a 2 to 3 body length advantage. And again, no surprise, Walsh is going to go for it here in this first 50. Splitting 24.89 to the feet. And second right now are the Mariners with Kylie Cantlin. Right behind her, the Black Bears and Emily Adams. Megan Cabral and Eli Lint in lanes 5 and 6. Right with each other. Walsh continuing to build this lead. It's going to be about a pool length after this first 100. He's going to give away to Therio. Eagles will mount the strategy of getting as big of an advantage as they can starting off this second heat. Regan up there in lane 2 will take over for the Mariners. Going to try to track down Duray in lane 6 for the Nor'easters. Therio already coming home for the Eagles on his first 50. As the Monks, Eli Lint will hand it off to Brianna Letourneau. Trying to track down Cregan, make up as much, Therio trying to make up as much ground as he can is Cregan of the Mariners. And Esquiara for the Black Bears, about dead even with Duray. As Therio is coming home, we'll hand it off to Aaron Madden. They're out in front by an entire pool length still. So Therio doing his job of holding on to that lead over the Mariners. As it'll be Cregan handing it off to Natasha Kopech, who's going to try to make up some ground on Madden, hang out in front of the Black Bears. Quinn Burns entering the water after Kiara. Coming home is Duray. We're going to hand it off to Mia Meister. Letourneau making up a lot of ground on UNE is going to hand it off to Grace Parker. Still out in front by about a pool length is Madden of the Eagles in lane 3. There's Kopech on the far side, now to the touch. 30-34, outsplitting Madden, starting to make up some ground. But here comes Burns, is going to shoot past her to take second for the moment for the Black Bears. And again, still out in command by about an entire pool length are the Eagles as they head into the final leg. And Maggie Poulin, Erin Madden does her job and hangs on. Bears in lane 4. Going to try to hold on in front. Brigham Graff is going to try to track him down in lane 2 for the Mariners. But the Eagles cruising home right now. Maggie Poulin still out in front. Has Mariner and Graff creeping. Going to have to do some work on this final leg as they're making up a lot of ground. That lead that was once a pool length is now down to less than that. About half of a pool length. As Mariner tracking down Poulin. Poulin to the wall first by about 2.5 body lengths. Mariner losing some gas into the wall. Here comes Graff as well, trying to make up some ground. Poulin hanging tough. Mariner off the wall with a lot of speed. Here comes Graff as well. Poulin into the final 5 yards. Here comes Mariner for the Black Bears to the touch. Poulin gets it done in front of Mariner. Graff just behind for MMA. Into their final length is Susie for St. Joe's coming home, as well as Cornier in lanes 5 and 6. But holding on is Maggie Poulin. Fletcher Mariner charging at the end of that one, trying to reel that in, almost does. 3:54.61 the final time for the Eagles. 3:54.86 the final time for the Black Bears in lane 4. 3:57.37 the time for the Mariners up there in lane 3, almost able to reel it in. The Monks will finish in 5th. UNE gets it done in a time of 3:24.24. The Monks 3:35.52, or 4:35.52. And now down to the final heat here today.
And for the third heat,
St. Joseph's will be in lane 1. We're going off with Lucas Fendel. Ryan Emerson will start it off for the Eagles in lane 2. For the Nor'easters, it'll be Adria Horton. Elizaveta Zukov in lane 4 for the Mariners. And Bradley Wallace will start it for the Black Bears in lane 5.
in lane 3, University of New England, Adria Horton, Jeff Manata.
Now we said this one's just for fun. Not going to count towards any of these teams' records, but it's about to get very loud here in the Weber Pool. The final race always brings the most energy. This one's going to go quick.
Jay Chenard, Brian Brewer, Carson Trout. And in lane 5, UMaine Club Swimming, Bradley Wallace, Amelia Phillips, Casey Malcolm, and Haley Harper. Mr. Official.
Away we go in this final event. Bradley Wallace up first for the Black Bears in lane 5. Emerson right there with them is going to head to the wall first for the Eagles. Again, it'll be these two men heading out in front, as well as Fendel for St. Joe's hanging tough there in lane 1. Emerson out in front. Right now, it's Emerson and Wallace dead even at the first 50. 24.92 for Emerson, 24.97 for Wallace. Emerson can bring it home quick. He's building out a lead in front of Wallace in lane 2. Fendel in lane 1, right there in third. Here comes Emerson, who's going to give it off to Brady Hand. Bradley Wallace is going to give it off to Amelia Pillis in lane 5. St. Joe's is going to go with Kylie Matthews in lane 1. As Jeff Manata goes into the water for the Nor'easters in lane 3. Jay Chouinard for the Mariners in lane 4. Hand is going to continue to build this lead for the Eagles. The only guy who can track him down right now is Chenard in lane 4. That's going to be his job, to keep this as close as he can to the Eagles. Hand is going to continue to work out in front. Right now it's Amelia Pillis for the Black Bears. He's going to get passed by Manata. Chenard right on the heels of Manata, and on the far side, Matthews still hanging on close to Pillis. Here comes Hand, who's going to give it off to Kayla Payson. Payson with a big lead is going to have some comfortable room to work with. Here comes Chenard and Manata down to the touch. It's going to be Chenard handing it off to Brewer. Manata to Meyer. And then Pillis gives it off to Malcolm. Matthews to Perry. And continuing to build this lead is Payson over Meyer and Brewer. And Sean Perry is trying to track down those two in lanes 3 and 4 over there in lane 1 for St. Joseph's. Here comes Brewer now out in front. Casey Malcolm, Brewer still trying to track him down. Payson looking a little bit tired. She's had a long slate of events today. Still out in front. Guy trying to track her down is Casey Malcolm, who's going to give way to Haley Harper. In the water, Rachel Hand for the Eagles. Going to try to hang tough over Harper. Into the water goes Carson Trout, who can fly. He's got about a little bit less than an entire pool length to track down Hand, and we've seen that done over 100 before. Tiffany Twombly up there in lane 1, hanging tough with Michaela Hujus in lane 3. To the wall first, 27.75, the split for Hand. Here comes Trout. His split 22.52. He is absolutely flying right now. Still going to try to track down Hand. He's going to have to hang tough on this far wall. Needs a good turn to hang out in front of Trout. Trout to the wall, about 2 body lengths behind Hand. It's going to come down to the finish. Here comes Trout. Hand will hang on out in front. Not enough time as the Eagles will win it 29-74. Coming back home for Rachel Hand. They get it done 3:39.20. Their final time out in front of the Mariners with 3:41.46. The Black Bears 3:45.91. Hang on with Harper anchoring it out. 3:52.87. The final time for the Nor'easters in lane 4. Michaela Hujus hung on over Tiffany Twombly in lane 1 for the Monks. The final time a 4:67. And what a way to end it here today as the Eagles take that one. Again, Rachel Hand is going to hang on in front of Carson Trout, who made a really great late push there to try to shoot out in front. And what a way to start off the swim season for most of these teams. That's a fun one to always watch. Again, this one doesn't necessarily count, but it feels like it does, and that puts a lot of energy into these teams, and they're going to perform the best they can even early in the season.
We thank you all for attending today's Husson Relay meet.
So with that, Eagles win the 400-yard mixed freestyle relay, 3:39.20. Rachel Hand hanging on Zethan Moss alongside Jacob Wallette. Thanks for tuning in today.